Do you remember your first time that you got moldy kombucha? Well, today, my friends, it happened to me. What's going on, Booch Heads? My name is Liz, and on this channel, I like to talk about all things kombucha. So just as the title said, I got mold on my Kombucha SCOBY. It just happened this morning. As you can see, I'm actually a little bit excited because I was discussing a theory with my husband the other night about getting mold, and two things that I think, no matter what, if you did these two things, you won't get mold on your kombucha, on your SCOBY. So I'm planning on doing some experiments with that. Hopefully in the next couple months that'll be done and I can make a video. But I wanted to talk about what happened and why I got mold on this Kombucha SCOBY. First, let me show you a video. So this is what I saw. As you can see, it's like ghosty. I don't know, it looks weird, like jellyfish in the kombucha. That's not abnormal, that does happen. But for some reason, this brew just felt a little bit off. Maybe it was just my intuition telling me. So this morning I looked, I was like, holy cowbells, that looks like mold. There it is. See in the corner on the side of the jar? Here's how I think it happened. I was in a rush. I just got this new jar and I didn't feel like measuring out. I had a new brew that was about 7 days old, so I didn't feel like that, using that kombucha, the starter tea would have been strong enough. So I had an older SCOBY Hotel. It didn't have a lot of starter in it, but it had some SCOBYs, and it wasn't a lot of SCOBYs because the SCOBYs carry liquid too. But it was so strong, it had been sitting there so long, I figured it was fine. I should have used at least a cup of starter tea because this is a gallon brew. So I use at least a cup. Some people use 2 cups. And I'm pretty sure looking back, it was probably about 1/3 of a cup. So it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to lower the total pH of the kombucha. So there's 2 things, and this is what my experiment's going to be on. You want enough starter tea. I learned that lesson today. And strong starter tea. So how do you know if your starter tea is strong? Here's one thing you can use. It's called a pH meter. People have these for pools. Some people test their dirt in their gardens. It's really easy to use. I'm going to put a link, an Amazon link down below. I don't remember. I've had this for like 5 years. I think it was like $12. You turn it on, and then down here is where it does the testing. You just place it into the cup or into the jar, and then you'll get a reading. So neutral is 7. That's what water is, and that's what tea is at. And I tested this out in a video. I'll link in the cards or down below. So tea will be at 7. You want your starter tea to be below 3. 2.5 is even better, but 3 will work. And when I tested this in another video, when I added the starter tea, enough starter tea, it took the brew, or the new tea jar, I hope I'm not confusing you here, from 7 down to 4. Then each day the brew goes, the pH will get lower and lower. If you get a pH meter, I think I'm going to do a whole video on this in the next couple of weeks. If you get a pH meter, you want your starter tea to be at 3 or lower. That's all you have to remember for now until I put that video out. It also could have been the fruit, but I don't think that was the case because I don't have fruit and breads and stuff right next to my brews, but the cabinet above where my brew sits is where we actually have the bread and bagels. And that's normal. Like I usually have fruit or vegetables, like I have some squash that's been sitting there, I have some oranges. The bananas always end up getting brown. But that's normal. So I don't think that had anything to do with it. I'm pretty sure it was the amount of starter tea that I didn't use. Why am I so happy? I'm just so happy about this. Tea break. You like my mug? My mom just got me this from Disney World. Isn't she wonderful? So here's what I'm doing to fix it. I tossed it out, dumped it down the drain, took the SCOBYs, threw them in a trash can, washed it out with hot soapy water. I don't have a pot that's big enough to fit that jar into. So I boiled hot water in my kettle and then I poured it onto the glass jar. Then I rinsed it out with still white vinegar. Now I'm just letting it sit. And I'll probably wait another week until my other brew is done, just to make sure that brew doesn't have mold. And then I can use the leftover kombucha as my starter tea. Leave me a comment. I would love to know, have you ever got mold on your kombucha? How did you know it was mold, and what did you do about it? Okay, my Booch Head friends, thanks for following along with me. I will keep you updated on this, and I'll see you in the next video.